So what would you say to somebody who's in the fire season, who is in that period that's really tough? How would you tell them to find or to seek joy?
Really, one, I keep coming back to that surrender.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean we stop trying. It's a surrendered effort.
Yeah.
It's not a demanding effort of this is what has to happen. So to me, that's one. That's the posture of our heart, right?
Yeah.
That, Lord, have your way, because I know that you've promised that we can live in joy.
Yeah.
And so we may have to fight to take that ground, and it starts in our own heart. So that would be number one. We lived through a season where the kids, particularly the older two, they were girls, and there's just that dynamic of girls and a stepmom and all of that. But I mean, there was so much tension that home did not feel like a place that was home for me. So I've lived through that. I've walked through that. I think it's just also the surrender, but deciding, like, if we're going to be really honest, there was probably a season that was like, did I make a mistake? Like, what did I do? I really felt like I had confirmation from the Lord, but geez, I did not expect all of it to be this difficult.
Yeah.
But I had to decide. I'm in covenant, and I'm not just in covenant with my husband. I made a promise on that day. And so what that looks like to my stepkids, even when they did not want to be around me and they did not want to hear a position of authority for me in our home or anything like that. I was still in covenant with them. And the other piece was baby steps. There's a drip, 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 slow drip, a million little paper cuts that build. And so it goes back to expectation. It can be really hard, and you can still plant a seed. And that doesn't mean it's going to be great tomorrow. It may go back to really hard tomorrow, but that seed is there. And that's what the Holy Spirit can use to cultivate. And then all of a sudden you see a softer smile or a glimpse, and the Lord's working. And it's like, you got to hang on to those moments and know that He's faithful. When we can't see it, He's faithful. And He'll bring it about. He'll bring it about. We just have to keep that, to your point, Vanessa, the posture of our heart. And that's the battle, because it's the battle in our mind.
Well, and I think in our different seasons too, it's taking the posture of, God, what do you want me to learn in this season? Like, what is my purpose in this season? And it could be, whatever that looks like, but what is it that you want me to learn in this season? And like when you were talking about the planting the seeds, Kyleen, I think a lot of times of like, territory, and our family is, it's a territory that God has given us, our home. And I think about when you start plowing, how the first line that you are plowing in a field is the most important, because each line after that runs parallel. And so whenever we have our eyes fixed on the Lord, and we're not looking to the right or left, in our family unit, and we just keep pressing forward, and then we get to that season, where we're planting and you're sowing, and then you reap and you have the harvest. And it typically comes later than sooner sometimes, especially with blended families. We typically hear that, how you'll reap the reward of everything that you've done later on.